Hi, boys and girls. It's me again, Piper, and I'm back with a new read aloud just for you. I hope you're doing well and trying your best, both in your schoolwork and, just in being a kid. I know you can do it. This week's text is called A Tree is a Plant by Clyde Robert Bulla, illustrated by Stacy Shute. Clyde Robert Bulla is the author of this text. Clyde Robert Bulla lived on a farm and went to a one-room school. He loved to read and write, but he also had to do chores. When he was 10 years old, Clyde entered an essay contest and won a prize. When he grew up, he wrote many books for children. There, that's much better. Where was I? Oh, right. I have to do chores too, like run around the backyard, protect the neighborhood from all the people who like to walk by. Oh, sorry, I digress. This text by Clyde Robert Bulla is illustrated by Stacy Shute. That means that Mr. Bulla wrote the words and Ms. Shute drew all the pictures. As a child, Stacy Shute loved to ride her horse Snorky and be able to observe nature. She puts a lot of what she remembers in her drawings and paintings. Phew, the sun finally set. Well, this week's reading is a nonfiction or informational text. Wait, didn't we just read a nonfiction informational text? Oh yes, Amazing Animals. That's right. That's when we learned all about some other really super cool creatures, like myself. Well, this week we're going to be learning all about something called a life cycle. Do you know what that is? Well, I know that a cycle is a sequence of events that repeats itself over and over again. So a life cycle must be a sequence of events in the life of a living thing. Now, we have talked about sequence of events before, like in a story. Like Whistle for Willie. We learned that it's important to pay attention to the sequence of events as the story moves along so that it makes sense and it guides you from the problem to the solution. Well, since this is a nonfiction or informational text, there isn't always a problem to be solved. Instead, the order of events might explain how something works or how and why something is the way it is. I'm guessing based on the title that we're going to be learning about the life cycle of a tree. So I predict that if we're learning about a life cycle, the sequence of events might be about how a tree's life starts, and then what happens next, and what might happen after that, until the cycle of its life repeats itself. Let's see if I'm right. Oh, and as I read this text, I want you to notice if there's anything different about the pictures in this text versus some of the other nonfiction texts that we have read before. Well, now you have lots of things to look for and pay attention to while we read to help you focus, too. A Tree is a Plant by Clyde Robert Bulla, illustrated by Stacy Shute. Whoa! Look at the picture! What do you notice? My mommy says those boxes with the words in the pictures are called labels. And since this text is about a tree, I think that those labels tell you what the kind of tree is in the picture. Wow, that's so cool. I've never seen that before in a drawing. Have you? A tree is a plant. A tree is the biggest plant that grows. Most kinds of trees grow from seeds the way most small plants do. There are many kinds of trees. Here are a few of them. How many do you know? Guess what I'm learning this week? I'm learning that there are different kinds of statements or sentences. First, I learned that you can have a telling sentence or a command, like, this tree grows in the country, or this is an apple tree, or stop digging, Piper. See, because they're telling something. I also noticed those sentences end with a period. Then I learned that you can have an asking statement or question too, like, do you know what kind of tree it is? Or, do you have a tree like this in your yard? Or, why do you keep digging holes when I keep asking you to stop? Those are questions. And guess what is so special about them? They end with a question mark. This tree grows in the country. It might grow in your yard too. Do you know what kind it is? This is an apple tree. Can you find the statement that is an asking or question statement? This apple tree came from a seed. The seed was small. It grew inside an apple. Have you ever seen an apple seed? Ask an adult to help you cut an apple in two. The seeds are in the center. They look like this. Do you see a question sentence on this page? Remember, it ends with a question mark. Most apple trees come from seeds that are planted. Sometimes an apple tree grows from a seed that falls to the ground. The wind blows leaves over the seed. The wind blows soil over the seed. All winter, the seed lies under the leaves and the soil. All winter, the seed lies under the ice and snow and is pushed into the ground. Spring comes. Rain falls. The sun comes out and warms the earth. The seed begins to grow. So the first stage in a tree's life cycle is a seed. Interesting. At first, the young plant does not look like a tree. The tree is very small. It is only a stem with 2 leaves. It has no apples on it. A tree must grow up before it has apples on it. Each year the tree grows. It grows tall. In 7 years, it is so tall that you can stand under its branches. In the spring, there are blossoms on the tree. Spring is apple blossom time. After many years, what happens to the little plant? The blossoms last only a few days, then they fall to the ground. Now there are green leaves on the tree. Among the leaves, there are small apples. The apples are where the blossoms were before. The apples are green, and they are almost too small for you to see. The apples grow slowly. They grow all during the spring and the summer. What happens right before the small apples appear with the green leaves on the tree? In the fall, they are large and ripe. They are ready to eat. We can see the apples and the leaves on the branches. We can see the branches growing out of the trunk. We can see the trunk growing out of the ground. We can see the bark of the tree. The bark covers the branches and the trunk like a coat. But there is a part of the tree that we cannot see. Ooh, I love the pictures on this page. We cannot see the roots. They are under the ground. Some of the roots are large. Some of them are as small as hairs. The roots grow like branches under the ground. A tree could not live without roots. Roots hold the trunk in the ground. Roots keep the tree from falling when the wind blows. Roots keep the rain from washing the tree out of the ground. Roots do something more. They take water from the ground. They carry the water into the trunk of the tree. The trunk carries the water to the branches. The branches carry the water to the leaves. Hundreds and hundreds of leaves grow on the branches. The leaves make food from water and air. They make food when the sun shines. The food goes into the branches. It goes into the trunk and roots. It goes to every part of the tree. Fall comes and winter is near. The work of the leaves is over. The leaves turn yellow and brown. The leaves die and fall to the ground. Now the tree is bare. All winter it looks dead, but the tree is not dead. Under its coat of bark, the tree is alive. Spring comes again. Rain falls. I feel like we've read that before. Don't you just love the pictures on this page? The sun warms the earth. The tree blossoms, and new leaves grow. As long as it lives, the apple tree grows. As long as it lives, the apple tree blossoms in the spring, and apples grow on it. When do you like apple trees best? In the spring when they are covered with blossoms? In the summer when they are covered with leaves? In the winter when they are bare? Or in the fall when they are covered with apples? What do you notice about all the sentences on the last 4 pages? Well, that was a very interesting and informative text about the life cycle of an apple tree. Are you ready for the writing prompt and some of my ingenious ideas that I have for you? Now, don't forget to email a picture of your writing to your teacher by the end of this week. And don't forget to use your capitals at the beginning, spaces between words, and punctuation at the end. Maybe this time you can even try using different punctuation, like asking a question. Let's begin. Tell 3 stages of a life cycle that you know, like a frog or a butterfly, a chicken, or even a plant. Just tell us about them. You can even draw a picture. Maybe you can even use some of your transition words. And no, I was not napping in the taking of these pictures. I was just thinking very hard about the words. That's right. That's exactly what I was doing, and it just helps to keep my eyes closed while doing so. Thank you. Did you happen to notice any other cycles happening throughout this text? Maybe you could write and tell me about them. Well, we hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, bye-bye.